Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning has been on bullying. More than 1 out of every 5 students, that's about 21%, report being bullied nationwide. Some of the reasons include looks, body shape, and even race. What's even worse, 64% of those bullied don't report it. My next guests understand all too well the impact bullying can have on young people. Dr. Doug Meske, he is a practicing psychotherapist, author, and nationally known speaker on personal, couple, and family wellness, and deals specifically with suicide prevention. And we're also being joined by Charlie Mickschl, who is a father who lost his son to Bullycide. He also works as an assistant and speaker for Generations Against Bullying. How are you, gentlemen?
Good. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you both for being here. Appreciate that. And Dr. Meske, there is a strong association between bullying and suicide-related behavior. So much to the point that they've come up with this new word, bullycide. So if you would talk about some of the things that, in your opinion, can be done to prevent bullying in the first place.
Well, in terms of prevention, I think there's 2 levels to try to hit on as majors. One is what mom and dad can be watching for. If they see their child having mood swings, not eating, not wanting to go to school, claiming to be sick quite a bit, starting to do serious things like maybe cutting, turning to drugs or alcohol, avoiding friendships, these are signs. Mom and dad ought to be exploring that with what's going on. Now, a lot of times a child isn't going to tell you, but then I think it's important they go to that second group, and that's the teachers and the administration, because schools can do so much more than they're doing to prevent this and create consequential kinds of things that would affect bullying. As far as, if I don't stop this, I face a consequence and my family faces a consequence. The other thing is what Mr. Dean said, that the kids need to help one another.
Yeah.
And so there's loads of things we could bring into schools to help parents and to help administration.
Yeah. So, Charlie, I so appreciate you being here to share your story. And
absolutely.
I think it says so much about you as an individual that you would suffer such a loss and then still take on that commitment to help other people so that they don't have to go through this. So first, I'm sorry for the loss of your child. If you would just kind of share your story with us.
My son was in 8th grade. He was 14 years old, and you wouldn't think that he was the typical kid to get bullied. He was about 6'2", 225.
Wow.
So you think he would be able to take care of himself, but he actually liked another girl, which this girl did not like him back. So she had a group of girls, and they used to make fun of him, call him names, put things on messages out there on Facebook and things like that. And so it started affecting him throughout the school year. Christopher was a really bright kid, very smart, got accepted into Marquette High School. Then we started noticing that he had trouble sleeping. So we brought him to the doctor and the pediatrician, and they ran tons of tests on him, even tested at the point of seeing if he had leukemia. And they diagnosed him with depression. They put him on medication, and then obviously this teasing, or what they called teasing, started continuing. Never told us. He never said anything to us what was going on at school. After he was diagnosed with depression, he started cutting himself. We brought him to a psychologist. He did all the testing, answered questions, did everything there. Then he increased his medication. He said, yes, he's depressed. We're going to increase his medication to see if it has helped. 1 week later, he committed suicide. And it's not so much that factor, but the devastation that it caused our family after that. My 8-year-old daughter is the one that found him. So she's 17, a senior in high school, just now stopped going to counseling, always has that guilt that she could have done something to prevent this. After I went through this situation, I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid to be home alone. I had to go through EMDR therapy. For 3 years, I went through grief counseling, 2 different group counselings, 1 individual counseling to get to what they call a new normal in my life, but it's never a normal because your son's not there. Right. Every time you see something going on, you think about, wow, he was 6'2", 225. Well, there was one of the kids he played football with in grade school that plays for the Badgers. Could he have been a football player someday? You always think about those things. So you struggle with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so the reason that I joined Generations Against Bullying and found this organization is so that no parent has to suffer what I went through, and to talk to kids to let them know what I can do to help them, and that we have an organization here that can help these kids to be upstanders, and then also to let administrators and teachers know that we have this organization here. We just want to find solutions for them and help to bring this in every school that we possibly can.
Wow. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking.
It is terrible.
It's heartbreaking. But there's a message too to those. This is a group of girls who probably thought nothing of it, had no idea what they were doing to this young man.
And kids that are on the bullying side, they're struggling with things too. Their own insecurities, some unresolved anger, some pressures in their lives. So those youngsters need help as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is some very powerful things, Andrea, that can happen in the schools.
Yeah.
There are films that can be seen. There are songs. There's a song out, Don't Laugh at Me, that if they played that over the PA system in the morning once a month and talked about that concept, they should be having speakers come in. I think kids and parents need to have a consequence if it's the bully, that they don't tolerate that for such a length of time, because then a youngster like Charlie thinks no one cares, or I have no recourse, or it won't do me any good to share anything. So a youngster who's being bullied needs to sense somebody's going to protect them. And that means taking some positions like you're suspended for a day and you don't come back until your parent comes with you for a meeting.
Yeah.
Because now it engages mom and dad.
Well, I'm looking at the steps that he said he took. You guys obviously saw some things going on, and you did everything that most parents would do, trying to figure out what's going on, but yet they had no idea that this was stemming from people teasing at school. How is a parent supposed to know?
Yeah, how does a classroom teacher or somebody in the hallway not notice this? I mean, to me, if there were a peer ambassador program like Gab has, where even kids now are involved in saying, hey, that youngster's being given a tough time, I go to the principal. I stand up for this kid. But when a mom and dad are struggling, trying to figure out what's going on with our child, other than the steps that Charlie took about taking to a doctor and finding out why not sleeping, I think you got to go right to the school and say, you've got to pay attention to what's happening here.
So, Charlie, you talked about just seeing things and really not knowing. And I will repeat, I don't know how any parent is supposed to know, but what advice do you have for other parents who may see some things, but they're quite, not sure what to make of it or what to put their finger on?
Well, the first advice I would say is go research. Whatever symptoms they're having, whatever they're struggling with it, there's so much research on the internet, because unfortunately, we did it too late. We found out these symptoms too late. We heard through the grapevine that he was being bullied, or that these girls were teasing him after the fact, too late. So if there's any symptoms, any signs that are going on, I would get on the internet and start figuring out what's going on. If your son or daughter is not talking to you, figure it out. Talk to their friends. Maybe their friends are willing to talk and say, yeah, he's being bullied at school, and then take the appropriate actions. Go to the administration, go to the school, figure out what's going on. We're an organization that can help too. We'll do whatever it takes to help these parents out, to help the teachers out, to help the administration out. We're here to help people. We want to grow this organization and help it every way we can.
Imagine what would have happened if Chris, Charlie's son, had had a peer ambassador, an upstander to turn to. Imagine if that child had heard, don't laugh at me over the PA system and realized, oh, this school cares. He'd have gone to a counselor. He could have reached out because he had the message that I'm around a group of people that apparently make this a priority. Those are the things that have to happen, Andrea, or these youngsters feel very alone and abandoned.
Yeah, and sometimes if they don't feel like they have those friends they can lean on,
You're right.
then they feel like they're in
Huge.
it all alone, and they feel like parents don't understand. But in fact, parents pretty much have gone through everything that their kids can imagine.
Well,
that
and the
they've
child
gone
gets a
through.
little afraid if I tell my parents and
Then
they
they
go
come
to the school, it's going to
yes.
make things worse.
It does.
We've got
Sometimes
to-
it does.
Well, and we have to help parents address that and assure the child you're doing the right thing, not only for yourself, but you're probably helping some other child.
It is a very, very delicate situation, and you got to make sure you're not, putting your kid in a situation where they feel like you're putting them on Front Street
Right.
and everybody's going to know. So it's delicate.
But we got to realize that there are good administrators out there that are acknowledging the problem, that know how to deal with it. There's teachers out there that are acknowledging it, and there are people out there that are doing stuff about it too.
Yeah.
So there are good people out there that are taking under control and dealing with the situation too. Not just administrators out there that are ignoring it. There are administrators out there that are, this is not going to happen, we're going to deal with it, we're going to be on top of it, and they're doing the right things.
Absolutely. So we just want to make sure we get the message out there so that everyone's aware on every level to really stand up and help make a difference if
A lot
in fact
can be
they
done.
can.
Yes.
A great deal can
I
be
wanted to mention, because this information just came out a couple of weeks ago, Facebook announced that they're expanding their efforts to prevent suicides using artificial intelligence to identify posts, videos, and streams on Facebook Live that contain suicidal thoughts. And if a post is spotted, they could indicate suicide risk. They have a team to review it and determine if action is necessary, and they also are looking at working with first responders. So I think this is a step in the right direction, because when we look at, the internet and social media, a lot of times it's hard to get a grasp on what's taking place, but like I said, step in the right direction. Well, I thank you both for coming by.
You're welcome.
And sharing your story. For one, my heart goes out to you, but like I said, it says so much that you're willing to help others through your pain. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
And giving out great information to help parents.
A lot can be done.
Okay, and that is really the message. A lot can be done. Thank you both. Dr. Doug Meske, he is a practicing psychotherapist, author, and nationally known speaker who deals with suicide prevention. And Charlie Mickschl, he is an assistant and speaker for Generations Against Bullying. He shares the story of losing his own child to suicide in an effort to help others. For more information on Generations Against Bullying, visit gabnow.org or call 241-2465. Also, remember, Prevent Suicide Wisconsin has a crisis line for Milwaukee County, and that number is 257-7222. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at Our Issues Milwaukee. Have a great day.